Okay, hi everybody. Good to have you here today. This is number two in our current series where we're trying to um, bring you guys, you know, updated on what you need to know concerning, coming to Canada. A lot of you sent us questions, and we are happy to attend to them, the ones that we can, but the ones that we cannot, we're able to cover them in these videos. So today, but before I go ahead, please invite your friends, invite your colleagues, anybody that you think they might need this information, to go ahead and share these videos and subscribe to our channel, because we need to grow this channel so that we can be able to attract comments and feedbacks and know how to help you guys better. So please subscribe to this channel and help us to share so that we can also grow on this channel. Today we're going to be talking about immigrating to Canada as a skilled immigrant. Remember, I have always told you people that there are so many ways you can immigrate to Canada, but it is important that you have to know which one is best for you. Not every method of coming to Canada is best for you. You have to go on the website www.canada.ca. You always have to go there and start, and then you'll be able to figure out what is the best for you. Today we're talking about immigrating to Canada as a skilled immigrant. I'm not just going to read from off my head. I'm going to read this directly from a document on the Immigration and Citizenship website of the government of Canada. Now, the first thing is you need to find out if you are eligible to apply. Okay, and to do this, do you want to live permanently in Canada and work in a skilled job? Now, to do that, you have to answer a few questions to find out if you might be able to apply under express entry. So a lot of people just say, help me, help me, help me. No, you have to first of all go here and find out if you are eligible. If you're not eligible, then there's no need for you to try to choose that option. Now, there are three immigration programs under express entry. Now, you need to know that the express entry, when you have express entry, it is not the same thing as visa lottery. Okay, it is an opportunity for you to come in to Canada. There is a certain number of people that there's a certain number of quota that is allotted to each country every year. So that's what makes it look like the US visa lottery, but you need to understand the details there. Now, there are three main programs under express entry, and each has different requirements. You will need about 10 or 15 minutes to fill out this form. So you need to go and fill out that form. You'll be asked questions about your nationality, your age, your language ability, your family members, education, work experience, details on any job offer. That is, if there are jobs that you already have offered to you. Now, if you have a way of applying, and there are so many companies out there on the internet who are looking for workers from outside the country, I advise you to go online, find out these companies, find jobs existing in the area that you specialize in. When you find these jobs, these people will be willing to hire you even from outside Canada, and that gives you a better opportunity of your application being successful. And based on your answers, they will tell you what programs you may be eligible for. So be as accurate as you can. If you are eligible for express entry, they will give you a detailed list of instructions on what to do next. So you see, some of you are so impatient, you want to know, will I be able to do this, will I be able to do this? You won't get the way the website is structured. If you are not qualified, then there is no need for you to go any further. You will not see the other information that you want to see, because there's thousands and thousands of information to give you. So they want to streamline it. It is based on the questions, the answers that you give in the first part of their query, that they will now show you the next phase of what to do. So it is based on that the details, the little list of instructions on what to do next. They will give you based on your answer. Now this would include filling out an online profile, and based on this profile, if you meet the requirements, you'll be put in a pool of candidates for immigration and possibly invited to apply to immigrate. That's when they put you in that pool. That's when it looks like a lottery visa. So it's like, so don't confuse it when you hear Canada is doing lottery visa. It's like it's by luck kind of, because they're going to put you in a pool, and but bear in mind that there's a certain quota they're going to take for each year. So once they reach that cutoff, the rest of the people, they're not going to entertain them. They will send you a generic letter, but they won't tell you that, oh, we've gotten the number of people that we want, but they just tell you that they can't admit you, and sometimes you think it's your fault. I want you to bear that in mind too, so that when they reject you, you should also continue and not give up another time. Now, so that's what you will find out when you go to their page. You go do that CIC quiz, it is called, and you'll find it at www.cic.gc.ca. okay, that's where you're gonna find that thing. Number 2, get your language test done. You must get at least CLB 7. So you need to go and do that language test and get CLB 7 in each of the 4 sections for the Federal Skilled Worker, that is FSW, and then Provincial Nomination Program, which is PNP, or Canadian Experience Class, which is CEC stream. So there are 3 streams. Remember, there is the Federal Skilled Worker, there's the Provincial Nomination Program, and there is the Experience Class streams. But getting CLB 10 gives you maximum points for language. So what they're trying to say is that, and I know most Nigerians don't have this problem, but if you're coming from a place where English is not spoken, you might find it difficult, but I'm telling you, it's easy for you to score 10 over 10. So don't be afraid to go and take that test. Now, how does CLB match back to the language test? That info is here. How CLB matches back to the language test. I don't want to go through that. You can find that out for yourself. Now, number 4, the number 4 thing that you want to do is you want to get your qualifications assessed by doing an education credential assessment. Okay, you need to do an education credential assessment, ECA, education credential assessment. And you ask me, what is education credential assessment? Now, education credential assessment, ECA as it's called, is used to verify that your foreign degree, diploma or certificate or other proof of your credentials is valid and equal to a Canadian one. There are different types of ECAs. You need to get an ECA for immigration purposes. If you get another type of ECA, you may be able to get it reissued depending on the type of ECA and or issuing organization. What it means is that when you're going to take that ECA assessment, make sure that it is the one you're going to use to apply for immigration, because there are so many of them. Like when we came here, they had to do the one for architects to see whether the training we had in Nigeria, can be matched to architecture here. Okay, but this one, you're doing it just for immigration. Now, some of you think, oh, because I read from this university and I read law, oh, that means I'm a lawyer. No. You need for them to assess it. Maybe by the time they finish assessing it, the kind of training you had where you're coming from is equivalent to a paralegal here, not a lawyer. Now, you may think that you're a doctor because of the training you had, but by the time you submit your papers for assessment, they just tell you that, oh, you just qualify as a health worker here. So it's important that, and you may be calling yourself an engineer, but here you are just a skilled worker, or you think that you are a skilled worker, but here they see you as an engineer or a technologist. There are so many different things, but let them assess it so you know how they rank you within the country here. All right. Now, your ECA report may help when you're looking for a job, but it doesn't guarantee that you get a job. It doesn't guarantee that you will get a job in your field or at a certain level. You will get a license to practice in a regulated profession. Okay. All right. So that was the number three thing you were supposed to do. In determining whether you qualify to come to Canada as a skilled immigrant. Number 4, determine the code that best applies to you on the National Occupation Classification. There's the National Occupation Classification List, NOC list. Now, these are things that if I start going into them in details, this video will be very, very long. And I know some of you, the countries from where you're watching, it is difficult. So I'm going to run through them, and at other times we will deal with them in detail. So there's number 4, you need to determine the code that best applies to you on the National Occupation Classification. A little bit like what I was talking about before, because you need to see whether when you say you are, for instance, you say you are a scientist. When you say you're a scientist in Canada, maybe you're classified as a technologist. Okay, so you need to understand. You can be a welder, and in Canada it's seen as something else. You may be a bricklayer, and here it is seen as something else. So you really need to go through that. Number 5, when you have those in your hand, you create your express entry profile. You go to a website and you register for the job, and there are so many things. You'll be given points based on your age, education, number of years of your work experience, and language skills. The point system is detailed somewhere in their website. You'll be in a pool with thousands of other applicants. Did you hear that? Thousands of other applicants. All right. And of course, the more points you have, the better. The maximum point you can get is 1,200, and 600 of those points coming from your ability to snag a PMP or a job offer with a very hard to get labor market impact assessment. Did you hear that? Very hard to get market impact assessment. Now, labor market impact assessment means that, when you're looking for a job in Canada, that job that you want to come and take here, do they have need for that job? You must agree with me that if there are people in Canada here who are looking for that job, the government will first of all want to give the job to its citizens before it gives the job to somebody who is coming into Canada. So you really need to make sure that that sector you're looking for a job, that they need to be able to write back to the government saying, oh, this job that this guy is looking for here, yes, there is need for it, and employing this person that wants to come and work here in Canada, employing them will not affect the labor market here. We have room for both him and the people that need the job here. So that's why they say it is hard to get. Now, for CEC applicants, the maximum is 600, but someone who has no work experience in Canada, who is only eligible for the FSW, which is the Federal Skill Work, can only get up to 520. You need to consider that. Finally, number 6, wait for your invitation to apply, which is ITA, your invitation to apply. Now, some of these acronyms will be confusing to you, but that's why I always tell you, go to the website, see these things for yourself. They have so many links that explains everything. They think that you don't even speak English. They think that you didn't even go to school. So they've simplified these things. They focus on, what if we are talking to somebody who has not been to school but can just barely read and write? So it is not complicated. If that kind of person can make sense out of the website, you that has some high level of education, I'm sure that you can make some sense out of it. But the thing is, we get scared when we go there and we don't have the patience to actually research. Like I told you, all this I'm telling you is from that website. But in the interim, you will need to do the following. Okay, have your application fee. So your application fee is going to be $550 each for principal, applicant, or the spouse, and right of permanent resident fee of $490 each for principal, applicant, and spouse. You need to have that ready. But these are things they will not ask you upfront. Now, if anybody, you start talking with anybody on the internet and they ask you for these monies and they say it is for your application, you should know that they are fake. Be careful though, and listen to what I have said. If you are dealing with a consultant, listen, if you're dealing with a consultant like an immigration lawyer or an immigration expert or paralegal, if they're asking you for money, find out from them if it is their own professional fee. If it is their own professional fee, that is something you can negotiate with them. They are well within their rights to ask you for that, okay? And you are not obliged to pay them that money. You can shop around, you can negotiate. There is no hard and fast. There's nothing binding you to pay the money if you don't want their services. But if you are dealing with any agency and they're asking you for application money up front, then they are lying to you. You only get to a certain level before you start paying this money, and it is clearly written how much you have to pay. Now, 6B, identify how you will provide proof of funds. You need to really know how to identify. We'll talk about this in another video. Now, check out what is required for the police certificates. There are police certificates that you need. You need to check out what is required so that you don't just walk into any local police station, they collect money from you and give you a certificate that will not be valid here. We'll talk about that in another video. Find out how long it takes to get a date of the medical exam. Okay, you need to know why they're asking you to find out the time it will take, because some of you just go ahead and buy your ticket, or you go and do maybe you're applying for sometimes school or stuff like that, but you don't check it with the time it will take for your medical exam to be done. And so when these dates conflict, then it nullifies maybe the ticket you bought or another thing that you are planning to do. So you have to find out how long it takes for the medical thing to happen. Now, 6E, contact previous and current employees about them providing job letters. You must have at least 12 months of full-time or an equal amount in part-time skilled work experience. Full-time work means at least 30 hours of paid work per week. Work experience while you were a full-time student does not count. So something like doing IT, that's what they're saying here, that doing IT when you were in school does not work. But a lot of us do other jobs. Okay, we do other jobs while we're looking for that's why we always recommend that people should volunteer. You must have that volunteer culture. Even when you come to Canada while you're looking for a job, that's something that you find you have to learn to do. So right now, all the times that if you have volunteered a lot of times in a lot of places, including church. I was telling somebody the other day, I said, you work in church, right? You work in a ministry, yeah? Okay, which ministry? Children's ministry. If they trained you and it was something that you volunteered, look at what they are saying here. That work experience while you were full-time student does not count, but you must have at least 12 months or an equal amount in part-time skilled work experience. So when you're doing part-time in so many places, and I think church work is also part-time work that you go and do there. Even some of you who go to church and you work in the building, work with the building committee, go and volunteer your time in the building of the church. If you did some skilled work there that you have certificate for, even if they didn't employ you, that will also count. Now finally, E, contact previous and current employees. Yeah, we talked about that. And finally, F, research cities in the province where you want to live. That is very, very easy. This thing is a process. It's not something you just get up today and say, you know what, I'm tired. I'm going to travel abroad, and I want, in fact, I'm thinking that by 6 months time we'll be in Canada. Yet, like the lawyer said in one of our videos, it is possible if you have all of these things ready, but it is the process of getting them ready that makes people say no, you may not be able to do this in 6 months, 7 months. Prepare yourself that it's going to take maybe like 1-2 years. That's not bad. It could take up to 3-4 years even, but you have to be patient and you have to be willing to do the right thing. Okay, and I know that if you persevere and you don't give up, I mean, it is fellow human beings like you that do it, and it works for them. I like to strongly advise people who want to do things the fast way, who want to do things the dubious way. You always fall into the hands of people who will take your money away from you, and even destroy your opportunities of getting a chance to come to Canada, because your name enters the record and it is difficult for you to do anything against it. All right, that's where we're going to end today. On behalf of all of us here in Toronto, Canada, I want to wish you all the best in your journey of immigrating to Canada. Thank you, and bye bye.